Okay, 7 o'clock, I'll call this common council meeting to order. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, call roll, please.
Evans?
Here.
Foodie?
Here.
Groton?
Here.
Morose?
Here.
Rungy?
Here. First item of business is the agenda approval. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as printed?
So moved.
Motion by Foodie. Second by Grattan. Further discussion, questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Approved minutes of previous meetings. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Motion by Morose. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Foodie. Any other questions or comments regarding the previous meetings? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Approved minutes of intervening meetings.
So moved.
Motion by Grattan,
Second.
second by Foodie. Any further discussion on those? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Public comment regarding agenda items. Is there anybody wishing to speak? Let the record show there are none. Communications. I have none.
We did get a thank you card from Pam and her family from her mother's passing.
Okay, approved payments of bills, checks for $1,142,645.39. Electronic transfers of $164,436.22. Is there a motion to approve the payment of bills?
So moved.
Motion by Morose,
I'll second that.
second by
Why did
Grattan.
you say $164,436? Not dollars.
What did I say?
Yeah, dollars and dollars.
$164,436.22. Any further questions on those? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Oh, excuse me, roll call vote.
Morose?
Aye.
Groton?
Aye.
Evans?
Aye.
Foodie? Aye. Rungy?
Aye. Payments of bills have been approved. Reports of officials, Mayor, I have nothing. Clerk Treasurer.
Tax statements went out yesterday.
Written reports, any questions on the building permit report, the police department report, the Juneau Fire and Rescue report, or the June EMS report? No questions on that. Moving on, reports, committees, commissions, and boards. We have our library director here to,
Calendars this time, so they're cool. Pass them around. I do want to, last time I talked about some programs we're offering. The time before that, I did some statistics. But I just wanted to highlight a few of the programs that we offer and explain the rationale behind them. I just think it's important to understand the perspective that I'm taking when implementing some of these programs. The first one is our Reading Dragons program. On paper, it looks like kids read and they collect trading cards, right? But the rationale behind that program, where they meet monthly, is to provide positive reading habits, foster a love of books, and then allow them to build their reading skills at their own pace without pressure to read so many pages or certain levels of books. The second one is our Lego Lab, which looks like kids get together and they play with Legos at the library, right? But the purpose behind that program is to help them identify problems and come up with solutions. I mean, you're building and creating with Legos. We give them a challenge to complete each month. It fosters creative thinking, and it also gives them a sense of accomplishment when they're able to do the challenge and then collaborate with the other peers that are there. That is one of our more popular programs, and the attendance of that increases every month with kids coming down to play with Legos, right? And then the last thing I want to highlight is a puzzle competition that we're having, a National Puzzle Day, which is January 29th. If you like to puzzle and you have some friends, you can get together and compete for completing a puzzle as quick as possible. The point behind that, though, isn't just some adults coming to play and goof around. Research has shown that puzzles can improve analytic skills, attention to detail. They improve concentration skills, which we all could use in this ever bombardment of information that we get. It can also delay cognitive decline and encourage team building and social interaction. And so those are just 3 things I want to highlight about the thought process behind some of our programs, and I'll continue to do that each month. So thank you.
Thank you, Connie. Any questions for our library director?
I'd just like to say how nice the parade of trees was.
Oh,
It was
yes.
a good time.
Yeah,
It was very, very, very nice.
yeah, Kathy put a lot of effort in the chamber in supporting her, Diane as well. So it was a great event, and if you haven't seen the trees, stop by and do a lap. They're really nice.
Anything else for Connie? No, move on. Plan Commission, Dave.
Plan Commission did not meet.
Finance, Richard.
Okay, we had a meeting just before this meeting, a joint meeting with Finance and Public Safety. We approved the awarding of the construction contract for the Oak Street reconstruction project. That'll be talked about at council. We approved purchasing a Panasonic touchpad computer for the police department. We talked and approved adding the removal, the cost for the removal of the Addie Joss Field lights to the capital request list. And there'll be a resolution on that coming up. We talked about the difference in the price for the Oak Street updated reconstruction costs. We had previously made an estimate, and the price on the contract came out more than that, but we talked about, we thought we would have to update that price, but apparently we don't, because there is a utility portion to that cost. So we didn't take any action on that. We're going to leave that as is. And we talked about approving the Miller Street overlay and updated project costs. That also changed with the contract that came in, and we approved that updated cost. Yeah, so then we ended up having some resolutions. And I have them here somewhere. I know you printed them off for me. The first one is Resolution 23-2024 amended. The difference in the costs will be highlighted with the green, with the exception on your touchpads, the East Oak Street reconstruction. That will not change because we didn't change it at the finance meeting. So the cost will remain at the crossed out point. So I will read the new portions, and not the whole list, unless somebody wants me to read the whole list. So, Resolution 23-2024 amended. Approve capital requests using 2024 general obligation debt funds. Whereas the Finance Committee has reviewed quotes for each department's capital requests, and whereas the Finance Committee recommends approving the following requests, and the changes are the Miller Street Mill and Overlay Project for $73,509.50, and the addition of the removal of the Addie Joss Field lights for $3,350. Whereas the Finance Committee recommends using the 2024 general obligation debt funds towards the approved listed items, now therefore be it resolved that the Common Council of the City of Juneau accepts the aforementioned recommendation passed by the Common Council of the City of Juneau this 10th day of December 2024. I would move for passage of Resolution 23-2024 amended.
Second.
Motion by Evans, second by Foote. Further discussion? Jason, you want to do a rundown? And
on like the Miller Street part or the East Oak
Yeah.
Street part, or which one?
Yeah,
we-
just to kind of fill in on some of the changes that.
Okay, so specifically on the Miller Street part, since that was mentioned there, as mentioned, there was an increase in the cost originally proposed, but the main reason for that was with the potential gathering plaza and some of the uncertainties there was some thoughts on electric needing to be brought across Miller Street, and that would result in extra concrete curb and gutter and sidewalk removals that would need to be addressed. And so the bid quantities that are for Miller Street or ever include probably what I would say a higher quantity of spot curb and gutter and sidewalk replacement that we probably won't realize during construction. I guess we'll have to see how things go, but with the potential gathering plaza, it's now been determined that electric could probably be brought off the county building, and we would not have to bring electric across Miller Street, which will minimize how much existing sidewalk and curb and gutter would need to be disturbed as a result of that. Therefore, the cost should come in lower is what we anticipate, but this was the bid price at this point in time, just based on the parameters that were put out there for the contractors to bid on.
Any other questions? Dick, anything you got to add?
No, not really.
Okay. We've got a motion and a second on the floor. Roll call vote, please.
Evans?
Aye.
Moody?
Aye.
Groton?
Aye.
Burrows? Rungy?
Aye.
Resolution 23, 2024 is passed.
Okay, then we have resolution 55-2024. A resolution awarding the construction contract for the 2025 East Oak Street reconstruction projects. Whereas the Public Works Committee of the Common Council of the City of Juneau, Wisconsin did advertise and receive sealed bids for the 2025 East Oak Street reconstruction project. And whereas 2 bids were received and are on file with the city engineer. And whereas the public hearing was held on Wednesday, October 30th, 2024 for the East Oak Street project for the purposes of hearing all interested parties concerning matters related to the proposed assessments for this project. And whereas the Finance Committee recommends awarding the following contracts. Contract A, base bid, the East Oak Street reconstruction for $678,886.50. Contract B, gathering plaza area, alternate bid, $117,769.80. Alternate bid item 66B, colored and stamped concrete sidewalk, 4-inch thick, $22,140. Contract C, Miller Street repavement replacement, Center Street to East Oak Street, $73,509.50. Contract D, South Main Street water service replacement, West Oak Grove Street to South Street, $38,260.40. Now therefore be it resolved that the construction contract for the 2025 street reconstruction projects be and is hereby awarded to Copeland and Keenest Company Incorporated of Green Lake, Wisconsin for an amount not to exceed $930,522.20. Passed by the Common Council of the City of Juneau this 10th day of December 2024. I would move for passage of resolution 55-2024.
Motion by Evans, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Grattan. Further discussion. Jason, you wanna kind of bring us up to speed? You happy with the bids? They came in about where you thought?
Yeah, well, I guess the bids came under our estimates. Obviously, we would have liked to have seen a few more bidders on it. We did have 21 plan holders on the project, but just the 2 bids submitted. But I mean, both the bid amounts are pretty darn close together. I mean, they're within 3% of each other, so the bids seem competitive, and the unit prices that we saw in here are in line with what we're seeing on other projects. So I guess no reason to think that that they're out of line or that they're not responsible bids. I guess the base bid is pretty straightforward with the utility and street work that we were planning on doing along those 2 blocks of East Oak Street in the downtown. I'm sure there'll maybe be some discussion on the Gathering Plaza, which we can discuss, and then Miller Street, we've already kind of touched on before, so.
And we've been happy with Keenest's work.
Yep, yeah, they were the contractor that did the last 2 blocks that were between Fair Street and Depot Street.
So I guess I was surprised to see this because there still has not been an up and down vote on the Gathering Plaza. So if this is approved, that means we're getting the Gathering Plaza. So no up or down vote, it's just included in this.
I didn't know how it was gonna be broke out, but yeah, I guess you could see the costs there now, you know what they are. There are certain options that we included and some that we didn't. I guess, Jason, you wanna hit upon that? Basically,
As far as the options go, or?
well, what we pretty much said on there, so.
Yeah, so, I don't know if everybody got a copy of the map, whatever, just to, I guess, see what at least the Gathering Plaza would include based on its, proposed state or whatever. There is some, I guess, we could discuss, scaling back or whatnot, but I guess what was discussed at finance was, moving ahead with the Gathering Plaza as proposed here with the option of the, colored and stamped concrete in the area that, on that exhibit, there's, in the gray portion, there's like a brick kind of hatch pattern or whatever, and that's where that specifically that colored and stamped concrete would go to kind of make that area stand out in relation to the surrounding sidewalk areas that go towards the county building or the sidewalk that would be along the street side of East Oak Street. So
When did you get these bids?
the bid opening, that
For the
was,
Gathering Place, just the Gathering Place.
it was done at the same time as the other project streets. It was all bid out as one project with these different components split up into different project areas and contracts. And again, the city has the right to accept or reject any of the project areas, and the contractors are aware of that, and or we can increase or decrease quantities.
You
So,
said it better than I did, that's what.
So we've had them for months, really.
no, this bid opening happened on the 6th of December.
6th of December.
Right.
And again, that confuses me because, I said, well, we shouldn't pay any more engineering costs for the Gathering Center until we have an up or down vote, but clearly it was included in this whole thing. So that was, that request was just
You
ignored.
had engineering costs incorporated in your engineering bid, correct?
I had engineering costs in it.
For the Gathering Center?
Yeah, that was just rolled it. We just
Yeah.
made it work with the contract that we currently had. So
Right,
it wasn't an increase in engineering costs. It was done for what we were contracted to do.
right,
for
I
the street.
understand what
Oh.
I was,
Okay.
my position was we've never had an up or down vote whether we really want the Gathering Plaza, right? As a council, we've never had that vote.
That's correct.
Right, so my issue was, we shouldn't be spending more time and energy and engineering costs if we have never even had an up or down vote. But clearly, that's part of the whole package. And I'm not saying MSA, that's what you were directed to do, that's what you did, I understand that. It just, clearly, it perplexes me that this is part of this whole street project, since we never agreed as a council that that's the direction we're clearly going to take. When the ARPA money came, just a little history, was, where there was going to be a committee. And I think there might have even been a resolution to have a committee to decide what to do with the ARPA funds. But the committee never formed because we had some overrun in some street projects. And at that point, I read a note that Cheryl Brown wrote that, we weren't going to form the committee. We were going to use the money because there was overruns in street projects. And so then this continues for literally a couple of years or so. And so that's why it's hard for me to get my head around. At one point, we gave this communication in a finance meeting that we were gonna use the ARPA funds for our overruns and street projects. And now we're using it for a gathering center that was clearly never, as a project to me, brought out and said, yes, this council believes that is what we should do with the ARPA funds. It wasn't that there was a decision, well, we're not gonna use it for the overrun on the street projects, we're gonna bring a committee back together and see what options there are. You know, it was just kind of, this keeps rolling through. And with all that said, I guess I'm gonna ask that this resolution be amended to remove the Contract B Gathering Plaza from this resolution. And the rest, you know, the street needs to be done. The contract needs to be awarded. But if it gets wrapped up in this, it feels like, you know, a little bit of a push to do this and not consider it separately. And I just wanted it considered separately. So I am making a motion to amend this resolution. I don't know if I'll get a second.
I have a motion and second on the floor already, so you'll have to vote it down, then make your amendment. There's a motion and second on the floor to approve as printed here.
Sorry.
Is correct? That's correct.
Well, I was in the last meeting, Kay, I said about the same thing you did. I had a lot of concerns about this project, and I still have concerns, and I will still vote no, because I think it's a waste of money. And even if it's ARPA funds or whatever, it's a waste of money. I had questions that, if you look at the plans here, I talked about this water runoff. We have no drainage on this site except across 2 sidewalks. And I'm very concerned about that with the ice problems. You know, this is all concrete. It's gonna melt, it's gonna run across the sidewalks, and like a day like today, it's freezing. And as of now, we're all aware of it, and now do we have liability because of that? I don't know. That'd be your expertise, because we know that there'll be a water problem there.
Right. Well, you've got to address the water problem.
Right. You know, and as much as I'm not in favor of this thing, and if it's going to pass, I think then we should also worry about making sure that there's some kind of drainage that takes that into our stormwater sewer, or down, you know, into the curb, down
I
to the
think
streets,
that's a valid point.
under the sidewalks, because we,
Yep.
you know, all you gotta do is see somebody said, and we're all running around, somebody suing us for $1 million because they fall and broke the back.
I hear you.
And we're all saying, hey, well, we didn't, who'd have thought there'd be ice in Wisconsin? You know, and what?
Because the gathering plaza itself is on county property.
We're leasing it, we're responsible for it.
I don't think we're leasing. Are we leasing it?
Yes.
No,
That's my other concern.
I don't think we're leasing it. I think it's on county property.
Right.
And
We're
it's,
leasing the county property, correct?
Well, the best thing might be if you gifted it to the county, and then you would help absolve yourself of liability if you did it that way.
Yeah.
That
But
might be a better way to do it.
Yeah, but I can't do
If
that
you
until
lease
that-
it, they're gonna sue all responsible parties.
Right.
So
but
you-
there is no lease. I mean,
Yeah.
let's be clear about this, right?
Not at this point.
There is no lease.
We wanted
So we're approving a project?
Right, we're enhancing county property. We're taking the money available to the city,
Correct.
enhancing county property. So
Right.
let's all be clear about that too.
Right,
Yes, and it,
but
yep,
isn't there some, we're gonna end up having to lease that property if we're gonna have some
yep. Or
responsibility to
gift
it?
it.
Better way to go, and if you go any direction, would be to gift it to them, because then you remove yourself, at least to quite a large extent, from any liability chain. So that would be the better thing to do, from that standpoint.
To
You'd
me,
be better off gifting it than you would be
Right, we
leasing
would
it.
gift it to the county. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But,
we're-
but if you had a choice, in my opinion, if you had a choice of gifting it to the county or leasing it to the county, your better option, in my opinion, would be to gift it to the county.
No, I agree.
From a liability
We
standpoint,
take our
from a
money, we
maintenance.
enhance the property, and then we gift it.
Yep.
Because then we would be out of the liability.
And
It's
if they
just hard to
say-
get your head
Oh,
around
I know,
this.
but if they say no, we don't want it.
Has anybody gotten back to you, Megan, on that?
See, I brought this up in the previous meeting.
Yep.
You know, there's too much stuff here that you're building something on somebody else's property. And, you know, anybody in real estate tell you just don't do that unless you've got a pretty good ironclad
Yep.
write in something in writing, which we do not have.
And what we will have by the time construction comes
Yeah, it's, you know, I'm gonna win the lottery when I buy a ticket
Otherwise,
at Quick Trip
around.
tomorrow.
Otherwise, it won't get built.
You've got
Yeah,
it.
we either get
You make a
a,
condition.
we either get a solid contract with them, or it won't get built. We've got,
Yeah, what Dave's trying to say is that they voted on
They
it.
voted on it, and that's in writing.
yeah,
The council, I mean, their council voted on
28 to 1.
28
Dave,
to 1.
anything, you're county board member, I know you didn't attend that meeting, have you heard anything likewise? I mean, I've heard nothing but positive from the county and the things, you know, as the fact, you know, one gentleman said at the county board meeting, he said, well, at least Juneau's doing what they're supposed to be doing with those ARPA funds. He made that, you know, that point. Do you hear anything from?
I mean, there's been no discussion. What you're talking about tonight will have to go back to the Building and Grounds Committee, and they'll have to bring forth a resolution to the county board as far as the gifting or leasing of the land. And other than that night that you were there for that 15-minute meeting,
Yeah.
maybe nothing more's been done on the county side that I'm aware of.
it. I thought at the county meeting there was talk about it.
There was. They approved a 50-year agreement, but we have to hammer out some of the details on that yet.
I
But
can't-
they
I
did
can't-
approve a 50-year agreement.
I can't honestly vote for something unless it's up in writing and it's hammered out. It's, you know, yeah,
Dave, anything you want to add? You've been pretty active with the chamber on this.
Well, the Chamber of Commerce was one of the big pushers for this, to get something that they could do entertaining downtown and have a gathering source where people could just hang out if they so desired. It would be an extension of their, well, not that they'd extend their premise, but you could run across there and eat a sandwich rather than in front of their establishment if they so desired. The county gentleman had made it sound as though they felt that their workers would come out and use this area on summer days, you know, rather than being cooped up in their office, they could come out here and work, because they can work remote, their computers out there. So,
They did discuss about extending Wi-Fi out there.
yeah, so.
Is there any kind of committee, when you say entertainment, who's bringing this, who's sponsoring the entertainment?
The local establishments would have their, whatever bands that.
Well, but would they have, they couldn't have open intoxicants, or would you get a
They
special
close the street and then you
lease?
can have an open intoxicant.
So on special occasions, they could have it. Normally,
Right.
you can't have, you wouldn't be able to have open
Not
intoxicants.
unless the street was closed, because then it would be contiguous.
Right,
Right.
so,
I don't say we have that many people there. It's gonna be tough with bathrooms, because there's no bathrooms around there, except if you go into the bars itself, and they ain't gonna want people just to go in there and go to the bathroom.
Well, more than likely, the bars would be sponsoring those
Well,
events
right.
through,
Yeah.
through the
Right.
chamber. Yeah.
But any other time.
Right, any
Yeah.
other time, no. I know one of the gentlemen from county board said that they could see that police department or their county sheriff's department would utilize it for their broad fries and whatever. At the time electricity extension was talked about, they said we'd probably be using it as much as you guys would be. So, you know, they didn't have any issues with it, but that would be yet to be acted on. That was one of the questions that we had. So,
And I thought Dick said it well, use the ARPA funds here above ground for public amenities rather than buried in the ground on water and sewer. You know, which
yeah, I just have.
could have been used on other streets.
Right,
Over
I guess
expenditure.
I'm all
This
for, I mean,
this
the
is a
original was,
perfect-
let's save the taxpayers some money by using it for the overrun. I just, you know, maybe it'll work out and people will gather there. I just don't see, if we build it, they will come. And the bars, do they really have that much money to put into entertainment? People can't walk across the street with their beers in their hands because, you know, it's not an open intoxicant. Are we doing this for the county? The county, that's probably a fair point. The county workers can come in and enjoy a summer day,
yeah.
but, you know, would we really
Yeah, the
do
only
that?
way they could do that was doing an event and doing it with extension of premise.
Right.
They'd be able to extend that.
Right,
Yeah.
and that might happen a couple times a year.
Yep, and that's,
And that's a lot of money to me for a couple times a year.
For the establishments doing it, now they don't have to rent semi-trailers and have people possibly fall off of those. There's no railings when they have the semi-trailers. You're at least, you're only, this high off the ground.
That would be higher than that.
And who
30
knows
inches.
what other events will be
28 to
coming up
30
because it's
inches.
here.
Right?
Off the back.
Richard, your thoughts?
Well, I think it's a nice, it'd be a nice enhancement for the city and the county. Like Dave mentioned, why should we take ARPA funds? We should be spending ARPA funds on something that people can use and enjoy instead of burying it in the ground.
Jane?
I think would be an absolute plus to the downtown area because I think the more family-oriented things we have, the better for the city. And it sure would, I think there's gonna be more activity than just the bars having, closing the street for street dances. It's gonna draw more than that, I think. The county will be using it, clubs and organizations might have more fundraisers out there, like the Broad Ride that you talked about. Just make it a lot easier to facilitate those.
Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Evans?
Aye.
Groton?
Aye.
Foodie?
Aye.
Morehouse?
No.
Rungy?
No.
Resolution 23-2024 is passed.
Okay, resolution 56-2024. Approved purchase of Panasonic touchpad FZ G2 computer for Juneau Police Department. Whereas the Public Safety and the Finance Committees have reviewed a quote to purchase a Panasonic touchpad FZ G2 computer for the Juneau Police Department. And whereas the Public Safety and the Finance Committees recommend to approve the purchase of the Panasonic touchpad FZ G2 computer from Baycom at a cost not to exceed $3,398. Now therefore be it resolved that the Common Council of the City of Juneau accepts the aforementioned recommendation passed by the Common Council of the City of Juneau this 10th day of December. I would move for passage of Resolution 56-2024.
Second.
Motion by Evans, second by Foodie. Any further discussion? Dave, you want to give a quick overview here?
This is just a replacement computer for one of the squad cars that's failing. It wasn't expected to fail, but as you know, electronics do that. The other cost savings here is that this computer will fit into the same cradle that's in the car, and those cradles are about $1,000 plus, so we don't have to replace that. So that's another reason why I went with that model to fit. And yeah, hopefully we get another 5 years out of the new one, so.
Any further discussion?
Dave is using funds from his
General
fund, his general budget.
General budget.
Yeah.
So I'm not asking for any new money from the council. This is coming out of my operating budget. The only reason that it came to finance and public safety and out of council is because of the dollar amount exceeds the $2,500 limit that we have in place. So.
Okay, and before I call the question, I would like to correct myself. The last resolution was passed 55-2024. I read the first one, 23-2024, so. Okay, any other questions on the laptop? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Evans?
Aye.
Foodie?
Aye.
Groton?
Aye.
Morehouse?
Aye.
Rungy?
Aye.
Resolution 56-2024 is passed. Anything else, Richard?
No, that's it.
Personnel, okay.
We had a meeting and we did approve an employee request for unpaid leave. And I also brought to the committee the information that the Labor Department's rule about a minimum salary for exempt employees was struck down on November 16, probably unlikely to be revived, so I did ask for reconsideration of the recreation director's salary using the same process and comparables used for all the other regular employees. That did not get supported. There was some discussion about the possibility of moving them up the current wage scale, although that was not particularly supported either. But I will bring that to the Recreation Committee next time it meets.
Any questions for Kay? Moving on, public safety.
Public safety met jointly with city finance tonight, and Dick gave our report.
Any questions? Public Works. David.
That meeting was canceled.
Moving on, cable TV, Jane.
Meeting was also canceled.
CDA, we did have a meeting. We approved the purchase of a backup pump for the Wild Goose pumping station, and as well as using the remainder of the funds that the CDA committed towards storm sewer help in that area, storm sewer construction. Joe did receive one bid for around $8,500. Don't quote me dollar amount, but that one he was supposed to pursue. And I don't know if you have anything, Megan, regarding that? You didn't hear nothing back from it?
No.
Getting to be late in the year now. I don't know if they'll execute anymore this time of year. But other than that, we had some, we met with a gentleman from Whisker in regards to the parking situation down there. They have acquired the property next door that was formerly Alltech. They're looking to possibly be, cutting some sod and putting some gravel down there for at least a temporary parking lot to get some of those cars off the street. Cars have increased on the street because they implemented a no smoking ban inside their plant or on grounds, so they elected to go out to the curb to enjoy their smokes. So that's why there's empty spots inside the parking lot, but they're not filled by cars because the smokers want to get out to off the premise to be able to smoke. So anyway, there was some discussion about retooling that and allowing them to park or smoke inside their parking lot, and I don't know if that's going any farther or not. But they are pursuing doing some grading work on the grass area that they have between the two properties right now, and possibly get some of those cars off. Nobody's in violation. They don't have a third shift, so they're all legally parked. Or, we don't have any real bite in our bark to be able to do anything about it right now, as long as they're off the street come 2 a.m. to 6 a.m., right, Chief?
Yeah.
And our police chief also went down there to talk to one of the representatives down there, so. That's about it for CDA, unless you have any questions. They still do have a right of first refusal on the 2 lots across from them, and they're very interested in land south of them too, trying to interest the party to come in and maybe do a subcontract for their injection molding or whatever, but that's nothing solid on that, nothing solid to report on that, but that would increase employment in the industrial park significantly too, if that would happen, if that would materialize. So kudos to them. They keep growing and they keep selling those things. So I guess it's great. Great for Juneau. So that's all I have in CDA, unless there's any questions. Rec committee?
We met Dick Gallman, Joel Lutke also attended, and we talked about the anti-joss lights and the need for them to come down, and we approved that cost to rent the equipment to take that down. And we approved a job description for the recreation director, which will be coming to the personnel committee. And then got a update of all the activities going on: pickleball, strong bodies, morning walkers, basketball, all that kind of stuff. So that was it.
Okay, any questions? Moving on, utility commission. Richard?
Yeah, we had a meeting last December 2nd. The minutes I see are from November 4th. But I have some notes from the December 2nd meeting. The commission designated their yearly community contributions. This year donations were approved for $500 for Shop with Cops and $1,650 to the rec department to be used for removing the lights at Eddie Joss Field. We also voted to donate $621 to the Dodge Center Historical Society in Juneau. Lori shared the results of the WPPI customer survey. Customers rated items on importance and utilities of performance. And there were 97 responses out of 575 customers, and overall satisfaction was 74%. Nick requested and the commission agreed to donate the labor for taking down the baseball field lights as long as the labor and equipment hours are recorded. Progress continues on the new wastewater treatment plant. The south clarifier will be starting this month and the new garage has been commissioned. Natural gas service has been installed and the new boiler has been started. Woodstream Industries accidentally dumped 190 gallons of nectar into the sewer and the new plant handled it really well with no problems. I guess there was an article about the wastewater treatment plant project in the Watertown Daily Times last month, in case anybody saw it. And lastly, the commission approved changes to section 201 of the policy handbook regarding requirements for wastewater employees having Fridays off without pay when they are working the weekend. This will be on the agenda at the upcoming joint personnel meeting on December 17th.
Yes, there will be a joint personnel on the 17th.
And that's all I have.
Report. Anything to add, Dave? Moving on, old business.
Well, now it's old business because we passed it, but I do have a question on resolution 55. And that was contract D, the South Main Street water service replacement.
That's handled by utility.
And that's gonna be handled by utilities, right? That's gonna be a
Covered,
question.
cost covered by utilities.
They're gonna pay us back.
Right,
Okay, that's.
right. Same
yeah.
way the water main that's gonna be replaced on Oak Street, that's all utility too.
Okay.
That came out to that
I wanted to make
211.
sure because, you know, you look at this,
Right.
maybe a reason this looks like we're
Yeah,
paying for it.
I know. The $211,000 difference, that had that all incorporated in that, right?
Well, that was, yeah, that's in the base bid.
Yeah.
That was the sewer and water costs
Yeah.
for that base bid. For the Oak
For the
Street
Oak Street,
portion.
but that also,
But-
or that was the other, did you total in that other?
No, because that's just the contract A portion, that's the sewer and water portion.
Okay.
The whole, basically the whole contract D is all utilities.
All utilities, okay.
Because they would be responsible, they're trying to fix some lead and water services that are on that block. And the restoration of the roadway as a result of that was understood to be the utilities expense.
I just wanted to make sure.
Right.
Yeah. And the other thing is I would like to, since we did approve the project, you know, the gathering thing, I would really like to see that the stormwater and the meltwater taken care of. If we have,
That's a valid point.
you know, because, you know, that's gonna be a problem. And it shouldn't be that hard for them when they're doing the construction to run that water into the street under the sidewalks. I mean, the street's tore up, you know, everything's tore up there, and that's the time to do it.
Trench drain work on something like
Trench drain would be an option, yeah.
that? With an outlet tied into the storm?
Right, yep. That'd be one option, otherwise you have just a couple of area drains and you maybe regrade that lower concrete area to those drains. Would be another option, I guess.
I think that would be, you know, I'm not for the project, but if we're gonna do it, let's do it right.
Absolutely.
And make sure the water's out of there.
Any other business? New business. Jane, you want to take the bartender's license?
Approved provisional licenses, and I'm gonna apologize for mispronouncing these names. Latoya Hogan, Sharon Blatch, Andrew Horner, I'll approve the provisional licenses for them. Does it make a motion to?
Motion by Foodie, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Morose. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Regular bartender licenses, I'll make a motion to approve them for Latoya Hogan, Sharon Bloch, Sierra Ewing, and Andrew Horner. Expires June 30th, 2025.
Second.
Motion by Foodie, second by Morose. How do you check these, Dave? I mean, before I call the question here, is that all of these apps go through your office and?
Yeah, we do a background check, Wisconsin online records check.
I'm just asking because that question hadn't been asked for several years, you know, otherwise every time before they were approved, were they all checked? What happened, so. Okay, no further discussion. Call the question, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Next item of business is adjourned. Well, I'd like to wish everybody happy holidays. We won't be seeing, well, I guess we will be having a meeting.
Yeah, there's a
Merry
joint
Christmas.
personnel.
Merry
You
Christmas.
remember that, Jim, right? Joint personnel,
Yeah.
next week.
So, other than that, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Motion by Dave, second by Jim. Motion by Grattan, second by Rungy. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.